My name is Gabby John. I'm a first-year master's student here at OSU in the College of Forestry, specifically the Forest Ecosystems and Society Department under the co-direction of Drs. Chris Dill and Mark Schultz. So today I'll be talking about stem water or tree water, which is much different from watersheds and the other types of really amazing ways that water flows through our earth that we've been hearing about earlier today. So more specifically today, I'll be going over my thesis question, which is, broadly speaking, how do Douglas fir and western hemlock respond to heat waves? So thinking about why this topic matters, I'm extremely biased. I think it's very important. But to get everyone else kind of on the same page and up to speed, old trees rock. Old trees are debatable in age, but broadly speaking can be thought to be 200 years old or older. They work differently than younger trees do. This is a picture of an ant from Lord of the Rings for all my Tolkien friends. I like to think of old trees as nature's grandparents, and I'm sure that a lot of us can agree that it can be hard to understand our grandparents at times, and I think that it can be pretty similar for trees as well. Old forests rock in addition to the individual trees themselves. Older forests store more carbon, biodiversity, and habitat than younger forests do. So in this way, we can think of old trees being different from young trees, not just in their age, but also in their size, structure, and carbon sequestering potential. And lastly, these trees need help. Changes in climate and land use mean that old growth forests need extra attention, which is hard because they can be pretty challenging to study due to their size and due to many other confounding factors such as shade and growth networks and things like that. So in understanding these trees, it is very difficult to control them in terms of the greenhouse experiment or something like that. So we can't just grow a tree for 200 years in a greenhouse and see what happens because of all of the overlapping variables in a real world old growth structure environment. So instead of doing that, we can use statistical models. So this is an example of a model that I made using the climatetoolbox.org. So this is representing projected summer climate changes in Blue River, Oregon, where the H.J. Andrews is, where my research is taking place as well. So this is representing the years 2020 to 2080, looking at differences from historical values to represent how climate is changing over time. So we can see that, especially from the years 2050 to 2080, there will be more days above 86 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature will also increase more and be different from historical values. And then we will also see larger increases in vapor pressure deficit compared to those same averages. And vapor pressure deficit represents the difference between the saturation point in the air of how much water the air can hold versus how much water is actually in the air. So it can be a predictor of drought stress and climate stress within a tree. And there is significant literature to suggest that more vapor pressure deficit is likely correlated with more stress and less photosynthesis, which ultimately means less carbon being assimilated into the tree. And stress can often bring more stress, so that kind of underscores the importance of research like this to try and avoid a continuous cycle of stress and ultimately tree mortality in some cases. So what to do about this? My specific research question is looking into the physiological changes that occur within both old growth Douglas fir and western hemlock, which are the two most dominant conifers in Oregon. Looking at how their stem diameter changes before, during, and after a heat wave, both using tree cores to look at historical data going back potentially as far as 1900, but then also using dendrometers to look at the year 2021 and the heat dome that occurred there as a case study. So this will occur starting this summer. In terms of the cores, I've already been looking at dendrometer data, and I hope to be done by 2025, so wish me luck, and thank you so much.